recording. Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be part 3 of what does Christianity have right and wrong, and what does Judaism have right and wrong. Please check out the part 1. We did the whole Judaism part in that, and it interloped into part 2 that we just did, and now we're almost done with the Christianity part. So now I'm going to jump down, and we just got cut off right at the unclean portion of eating unclean. So I'm going to have Brother Tony give you the context of Yahusha. He's not talking about that everything's clean now. He's saying that what it is in a man's heart is what defiles him. So he's going to give you the context here. And Brother Tony could read Matthew 15, chapter 15, verses 10 to 20.
All right. And calling the crowd near, he said to them, Hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles the man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles the man. Then his taught ones came and said to him, Do you know that the Pharisees stumbled when they heard this word? But he answering said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be uprooted. Leave them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind leads the blind, both shall fall into a ditch. And Cephas answering said to him, Explain this parable to us. And Yahusha said, Are you also still without understanding? Do you not understand that whatever enters into the mouth goes into the stomach and is cast out in the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and these defile the man. For out of the heart come forth wicked reasonings, murders, adulteries, whorings, thefts, false witnessings, slanders. These defile the man. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile the man. Back to you, Doug.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3 to 5, which are that's the last cross-reference we have for this specific topic. And then we're going to be going to another subtopic after that. I'll be turning it back to Tony. Just want to make sure I have another cross-reference I almost forgot about for the next subtopic here. So hold on a second. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go to 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3 to 5. This is going to give you the context of Christianity loves to quote this and talk about all meats are acceptable with prayer, meaning you can just pray over it. I'm going to show you the context here and show you what the word meats is in the original Greek. Okay, so this is talking about a warning in the last days. And it says, but the Spirit explicitly says that in the latter times, meaning the end days, some shall fall away from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having been seared with a hot iron as their own conscience, forbidding to marry, so saying marrying is a sin, to abstain from foods which Yahuwah created to be received. That should be key right there. Yahuwah created them to be received, certain foods, with thanksgiving to those who are believers. So people that know the scriptures and have come to know the truth. What's the truth? Psalms 119, 142. Your law is truth. So if they know the law, being received with thanksgiving, praying to the Father, saying, thank you for this bounty you've given me to receive, it has to coincide with the Torah. So you should really be thinking about the context of this. Because every creature of Yahuwah's tube, not one is to be rejected, being received with thanksgiving. Okay, this is how Christianity would just stop right there. Most Christian pastors would stop right there. If you keep reading, for it is set apart through the word of Yahuwah and prayer. The word of Yahuwah was the word of Yahuwah, the Torah. It's set apart through the Torah and prayer. So that's something I wanted to include in this portion, because this will give Christians, viewers, and listeners a better idea of what it's talking about. And just for example, where it says certain meats, and I think it's 1 Timothy 4:3, it's actually meats that have been set apart by Levitical law. The original Greek word is broma. So look that up for yourselves in the Greek lexicon, but that is important to understand. See here. So now we're up to Christianity focuses on two deeds instead of obedience. And I'm going to let my brother Tony read Matthew chapter 7, verse 23. This is a strict warning from Yahusha.
Matthew, right? I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked.
No, it's okay. Matthew chapter 7, verse 23.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there. So, and then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I should have told you. Actually, read verses 21 and 23. My bad. That's my fault.
No problem. All right. So, starting at 21. Not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, shall enter into the reign of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many mighty works in your name? And then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness.
All right. Nice job. Yep. So the whole context is great works, casted out devils, did all this great stuff that the Christian church loves to focus on, but they put the Old Testament, the Torah, the law to the side. Say, oh, you don't need to worry about that. Just do mighty works. Do all these great works that Yahusha talks about in the New Testament. Well, Yahusha himself is letting you know that he doesn't care for that stuff as much as he cares for you being obedient to him. So I'm going to be reading now from Matthew 5:17 to 19 here. So I'm going to be reading that real quick. And let's see here. So we're going to go to the screen share here on my eSword. Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 19. Do not think that I come to abolish the law of the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but fully proclaim. For surely I say to you, until heaven and earth may pass away, one iota or one tittle shall by no means pass away from the law until all things are fulfilled. Now, okay, if we continue here, it says, so not one iota or tittle, meaning one little pen stroke of the Torah. And it says until heaven and earth pass away. We're still on the first heaven and first earth, right? So whoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men thus will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does and teaches, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So that is pretty much an automatic warning. If you want to pick and choose what to follow from Scripture and think the littlest matters are not important, then you will be least. You will be the lowest in the kingdom. You will not be greatest at the minimum. So now we're going to go down to some Christians are against tattoos, witchcraft, and etc. So this is a positive of the Christian church today. Some of them actually still are against certain stuff in the Tanakh that they know is evil. So witchcraft, tattoos, and etc., all occultic evil stuff. So I'm going to let my brother Tony read Leviticus chapter 19, verse 28.
All right. To be quite honest, I feel like we actually skipped a bullet, like the two above, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I don't remember reading Mark.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for mentioning that. I almost forgot that. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, my bad about that. We forgot about by their traditions of both religions, they have made Yahuwah's commandments of none effect. So the traditions of Judaism and Christianity have something in common. They make his law of none effect by adding to or taking away from it or ignoring parts of it, doing it in their own way. So I will be reading Isaiah 29:13. I'll have my brother Tony read Mark 7 after me. So I'm going to read Matthew 29, verse 13 in the Septuagint because it matches perfectly with Mark 7, verses 6 to 9. So here we go. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13. And just to let you know, the Masoretic text has it worded extremely weird. It's almost like it's like a completely different quote than what Yahushua says in Mark 7, just for anyone's information. Says in the Brenton's English Septuagint, Isaiah 29:13, and Yahuwah has said, these people draw near to me with their mouth, and they honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, but in vain do they worship me. Like, basically, it's in vain. It's worthless to worship me in this way. Teaching the commandments and doctrines of men. So basically, they're worshiping the Father in vain. They're teaching commandments that nullify his law. And I'll give it to Brother Tony now to read from Mark chapter 7, verses 6 to 9.
And he, answering, said to them, well did Yeshayahu prophesy concerning you hypocrites, as it has been written, this people respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. Forsaken the command of Elohim, you hold fast to the tradition of men. And he said to them, well, do you set aside the command of Elohim in order to guard your tradition? Back to you.
Yep, great. So, and we're going to go back to here where we're at, where it says some Christians are actually against tattoos. Like, they will not get tattoos because they know it's a sin. They're against witchcraft, sorcery, and all that, and occultic stuff like eating blood, in occultic ways. Unfortunately, they don't even realize eating the meat with blood in it is just as bad. But as far as like vampirism and stuff, they know that's evil and stuff like that. A lot of the Baptists do. So I'm going to ask my brother Tony to read Leviticus 19:28, which tells us not to mark ourselves with tattoos.
And do not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor put tattoo marks on you. I am Yahuwah.
Yep, that's great. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. The viewers can see here that Yahuwah himself warns us not to do stuff like that for the dead, and just stuff in general. Because some people will say that, oh, it's just in idolatry, it's just for worshiping the dead. I would strongly disagree with that interpretation. I think tattoos in any way, shape, or form are not acceptable in the body of Messiah. But anyway, Christians don't wear tzitzis or fringes. So this is a little bit of review from the other part of this study. Okay, so Numbers chapter 15, 37 to 43. I will read that. Okay, here we go. So Numbers chapter 15, verses 37 to 43. And for a purpose, I'll use the Septuagint to show you it's using the same Greek word that is used in the New Testament about the fringe of Yahushua's garment, that the woman who had a problem with her blood, with she had an issue of blood, and she touched his fringe and she was healed. She was made whole, I mean. So here we go. And it even says in the title for the Brentons here, tassels on garments. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Yisrael, and shall tell them, let them make for themselves fringes. Kraspedon is the Greek word here. Fringes upon the borders of their garments throughout their generations. And you shall put on the fringes of the borders a lace of blue. Basically a physical representation. I have one of mine right in front of me. One lace of blue. If you can see that, let me try to put it in the light here. So lace of blue. Okay, so that's what it,
you because your picture's not on.
I'm sorry. Let me do that again. So let me just, so what I was just trying to show them should look something like this, like one lace of blue. So just to show the audience what it would look like. So that's part of the commandment. And so you have And it says, upon the fringes of borders of lace of blue, and it shall be on your fringes, and you shall look on them. So look at them, and you shall remember all the commandments of Yahuwah. Here's the context. Why we're commanded to do it, so we don't go after the imaginations of our heart, the wickedness of our heart, and do them. And you shall not turn back after your imaginations and after the sight of your eyes and the things which you go a-whoring. So now the whoring here is not physical whoring. This is talking about spiritual whoring. Like, to Yahuwah, idolatry is spiritual adultery and sexual immorality. So that's what he's talking about, to go a-whoring. That you may remember and perform all my commands, and you shall be set apart unto your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. So that was Numbers chapter 15, verses 37 to 41. And I'm going to turn it over to Brother Tony here, and he's going to read for you the cross-reference here with that same Greek word, mind you, fringes, Matthew chapter 9, verse 20.
And see, a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the fringes of his garment.
All right, so you have that, and you also have another cross-reference in Matthew 14:36 that I will read here. And so here we go. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 14:36. My e-sword here. And here we go. Matthew 14:36. And I'll use the ISR here because they actually fix it. Yeah. And begged him to let them only touch the tzitzi, or tassel, or fringe, of his garment, and as many as touched it were completely made whole. So that's how it should have been translated into the English, not hem, as our English translators think that they're helping us by completely messing up on these translations. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 12, Brother Tony, if you'd like to close it out for us here.
Okay. Make tassels on the four corners of the garment with which you cover yourself. That's it.
So four corners of your garments. In modern day, us guys, we have jeans, we have loops on our jeans. You got each one on the corner of your hips, and your back, your buttocks. You got like two corners behind you. You got two other corners in front of you. So that's pretty much how I would do it. Four corners. So, but that is the tzitzis, and that's just one of the many least things of the law that unfortunately Christianity has disregarded as not being important or not for them, only for the Jews. So that's the end of this study today. Hopefully this was a baraka to you. Hopefully for Jewish people that are of the same lineage of as our sister Shoshana and our brother Dennis in this assembly. Hopefully they have been encouraged to seek Yahushua and see that he is the promised Messiah of the Old Testament. And hopefully for any Christian viewers today, this was really an introduction to you wanting to actually keep the whole Bible, Genesis to Revelations, and not just, keeping the last 1/3 of Scripture that has been taught in, the mainstream church, that you only need to keep what it says in the Besorah accounts, the glad tidings accounts. So hopefully this was a way to show that everyone of every religion, everyone needs to get out of religions in general. This study today is a way for us to give you guys this message. Religion, all it's going to do is keep you deceived. It might have partial truth. It might have 50% truth, 30% truth, 20%, 10% truth. At the end of the day, it's still a deception. It's still part deception, and it's still going to leave you in the dark. So we want you to, Yahuwah and Yahushua wants you to seek them and the pure adulterated word of the Father, basically the purest form of his word as possible. So that's what he wants for you. He wants a relationship with you, not for you to be under man's yoke of religion. So I just pray that this would
Study, show yourself approved. That is a picture.
Yeah. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16 says, study to show yourself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. So basically, you should be able to know precept upon precept. If you're a true student of the word, you should be able to rightly be able to divide each doctrine. So hopefully this was a baraka to you today. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, this is Brother Doug signing off. I'm going to let all my brothers and sisters be unmuted here. And shalom to our brothers and sisters out there. Have a great rest of your new moon day, whoever's keeping the new moon right now. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right. And let me just take this off share screen and